Peace and greetings, everyone. Welcome to the remix. I am your host, of course, Miss Blue. And today we have a very special show planned for you. Coming on to join us again is Brother Panic. Brother Panic is going to be joining us here live in the forum this evening. Inception, Decoding 3 Levels of the Dream is what we're going to be talking about here this evening. So we're going to go ahead and welcome Brother Panic into Blue's Couch as we continue this discussion here. Welcome, Brother Panic.
Peace. Thanks, Miss Blue, for having me.
Always a pleasure to have you come join us here on the forum. We're going to be talking about this movie. You know, when you first sort of mentioned it to me, Inception, it was a movie my daughter wanted me to go see, so I was glad to go see it, but wow, so much information there. And this is what you're going to be decoding for us here, 3 levels of the dream. So we're ready to get into the share. I'm going to turn it right over to you. We'll get some questions, and we're just going to do it.
That sounds good. Now, this movie is clearly a more sophisticated, grown-up version of The Matrix. This movie makes The Matrix look like it's straight out of a comic book. The dude, which it probably is, the dude who did this, directed it and wrote this movie, was a dude named Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan, I'll tell you his work as a director. He directed something called Doodle Bug, Following, but the one probably more people were known for was Memento. Memento, I hated this movie. I hate movies that repeat themselves. Groundhog Day was another one that just repeated itself. But in Memento, the dude it was a sophisticated movie for what it was. The dude tattooed himself. He was going back. Which now, if I watch it, I'll watch it for the metaphysical aspect because this is a metaphysical white boy doing this.
Right.
But it has to deal with the subconscious mind, the dream state, and all of that. Even in this movie, Memento. He did another movie, Insomnia. I can't remember. I remember watching it. Al Pacino and Robin Williams. It was about some killer movie. If I go back now, it's probably some science. Now, after that, the one that he's truly known for is Batman Begins, the first in the new series of Batman.
Yes.
Which was real metaphysical. It put the metaphysics back into Batman, which something that Tim Burton couldn't do. Tim Burton has a great mystical look in his movies, Sleepy Hollow, the first Batman, Nightmare Before Christmas, but no science. Beetlejuice is the one where he had the most science in it. So where they couldn't put science in Batman, which is very metaphysical, The Dark Knight, they're talking about us, metaphysics, this guy Christopher Nolan put it back in. He also did a movie, The Prestige, which is about magic. I thought it was sucky, but if you could watch that, a very occult movie, Prestige. He also did The Dark Knight. And in that movie, of course, that white boy, Heath Ledger, dies playing the Joker. Now, the movie was terrible. There's not too much more you could do with Batman, but since it was Heath Ledger's last movie, everybody got like this was deeper than it was, but it was actually really corny. But coming off of that, then he does Inception. So Inception, I guess, this now put him in a position to kind of do more of what he wanted to do. Very occult, and it is the new Matrix for 2010. Now, so we're going to start decoding. I'm going to try to go through every point in this movie as best I can.
Right.
What made this movie sophisticated was when I only know a handful of people that really decode movies, but let's pretend everybody's decoding movies.
Okay.
Usually, you can find the character. Once you identify the character, that character holds true throughout the movie.
Yes.
So once you identify him as an Osiris character or a Horus character or a Mayat character, it usually holds true, and all the pieces start to fit together. Where it gets sophisticated, where he got sophisticated, is when he started to switch the roles. Yes. In this particular movie, he started switching roles and definitions of the character based upon the perspective of the scene. which made it very sophisticated, which I know a lot of motherfuckers got lost. Even though after this, they're going to tell me how they already knew it, already knew this. Nobody was saying nothing yet. Because it lost a lot of people because he dealt with, even if you read our cult writings, you will find they actually contradict each other, and based upon the perspective, mean something else. From your perspective, Earth may mean one thing. When you go to the next level, Earth may mean another thing. I talked about that when I said with the Mayat thing. On a certain level, Mayat means this. On another level, it means that. On another level, these things echo throughout each level of reality, each dimension, each world. So, with that being said, that's what makes this movie sophisticated, is the fact that from different perspectives, he changes up as if it would in a dream. So let's start. The word Inception itself means babyhood, beginning, beginnings, birth, childhood, commencement, conception, constitution, cradle, establishment, formation, foundation, fountain, freshman year, genius, grassroots, the head, inauguration, infancy, installation, institution, materialization, origin, original, rise, roots, radical, youth, stem, source. So it's clear what we're talking about is a new beginning when you say the word inception, right?
Right, yes.
Okay, now the plot of the movie is Cobb can invade people's dreams. So corporations hire him to steal business secrets from rivals, from their subconscious. The Chinese guy named is Saito, S-A-I-T-O. He's an energy magnate. He wants Cobb to do the reverse. What he wants is not to take information, but to plant an idea in a rival's mind. In return, he'll fix Cobb's problem so he can get home and return to his children. And we're going to go through all of those symbols. They go into 3 levels of the dream, right?
Yes.
The 3 levels of the dream is none other than the 3rd dimension. We are now in 3 levels of the motherfucking dream. Now, in the Kabbalah, even though there are 4 worlds, and we'll get to that, there's basically 3 levels in the dream in Kabbalah. After Kepha, which is the first emanation, you have Bina and Hokmah, which consists of another world. Now, this is a realer world, but it's still a dream world. It's a world of how you separate and observe yourself. So Bina and Chokmah become the masculine and feminine, but they still have a connection to Kepha, which is they're basically still together. They're only just looking at reflections of themselves. You get what I'm saying?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's a realer world, but still can be considered a dream world. Below that is the abyss, which is a world down. Now, if you look at the tree of life, Kepha, Bina, and Hokmah, the upper triad, there's a pyramid formation that's going upwardly. But it turns down, and the next 3 ciphers, starting with Hokmah, points downwardly. So basically, the pyramid or that triangle or that energy folded over in itself into a fake world. And then the next 3 ciphers beyond that, Tifra, Yoshad, and whatever else it is, that actually falls down again. And then it falls down into Earth, Malkuth. So you have this real archetype world, if you will, Bina, Hokmah, Bina, Kepha, Bina, and Hokmah, that folds down again, and then turns into Malkuth. That's 3 layers in the dream.
Right.
All right. So he tells them, the first statement he tells, one of the first statements he tells to the Chinese guy is, we can teach you how to train your subconscious to defend itself.
Right.
Well, we're doing that. That's what magic is. Magic is how you not only retake, but reprogram your subconscious mind to protect yourself in the dream world being Earth itself.
Yes, that was one of my questions, actually. Yes, so really good point, yes.
Right. So setting up salt in the room, taking the baths. All of this is subconscious, is to start programming your subconscious mind. Now, the subconscious mind protects you. The conscious mind tries to protect the subconscious mind by way of programming. The conscious mind, which is the most weakest part of your mind, is actually, because it's conscious in this world, which is a dream world, it actually does a bad job of protecting you. It's supposed to be the guardian of what goes in and what goes out. So if you're telling a new person about magic, that's why you have to tell them 1,000 times, prove to them, and then they have fireworks have to shoot out their ass because their conscious mind is telling them that isn't real, that isn't real, that isn't real, that isn't real. So eventually you have to wear the conscious mind down into it having an imprint on the subconscious mind. I got a whole chapter in my book on this. So subconscious mind actually protects you. For instance, if you got attacked by a dog at an early age, you may have a fear of dogs and may not remember why you have a fear of dogs.
Right.
Because the subconscious mind has been impacted. So because you are scared of dogs, it protects you by showing you fear of dogs. And you stay away from dogs at all costs because you have been tricked you have been tricked or programmed or have your subconscious mind has accepted the programming that dogs are there to attack you. Until you reprogram yourself is when you start taking over your subconscious mind. So magic, metaphysics, meditation, chakra work, all the crystals, all you're doing is trying to reprogram your mind or your subconscious mind to wake up from the dream, which is Earth itself.
So
now,
I was just going to say, so basically that is the subconscious security. That is the security for the subconscious mind, the work. Exactly.
And you'll hear Cobb, and we'll get to it, talks about he's security for him.
Yes.
Yes, your conscious mind is a weak security of your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind, it is the real world when you're not dreaming. Since you're in the dream, it becomes what you call spirit, intuition. It's these feelings you have. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But mixed with the dream, it's degraded, and that's what you'll see the story between him and his wife was when he's telling her this shit ain't real.
Right.
He's holding on, and I'll go through it. He's holding on to her, and she represented parts of his subconscious mind. But he had to come to the realization her and this perspective wasn't real.
Right. Yes.
So, yes, a tree and a flower is beautiful, but in this perspective, it's still a part of the illusion.
Got it. Yes.
So so people try to counter me with, well, as above, so below. Yeah, but you really don't know what that means. What it means is this below is a cheap rendition of something above. So to look for what's above, you can look into what's below. You're not supposed to sit and satisfy yourself with what's below. You look into what's below. Decode what's below to find out its higher meaning.
Yes.
I.e. a rose that means love. So now, in the beginning, when they're in the Chinese guys, Saito's, when they bring him into the dream to try to get his secrets, they kept saying throughout